This one had major juice, of course, in the Firelands Conference, Chris. I think arguably the top two contenders. Obviously, Crestview has played themselves into that conversation, but this was the one we were all keeping an eye on in the Firelands tonight, and it definitely did not disappoint.
Yeah, I tell you, this is a perfect example of why they play the game. I would have never thought after watching Western Reserve dismantle Norwalk St. Paul last week that they would come in and get manhandled by Monroeville. Monroeville scored early, scored often, and really just were very physical up front. I didn't think anybody could be that physical as I saw Western, but Monroeville really won the line of scrimmage tonight, outrushed Western Reserve about 280 to 100. Western got a few yards through the passing game. Our Friday night phenom, Brandon Wiggle, ended up with 2 more touchdowns, but he was held to around 60 yards. Hey, I'm just learning how to cut film, and I wasn't going to cut the American flag. I had to let it run. It was military appreciation night here at Batchelder Field. As you can see, the Western Reserve Roughriders came out fired up. It was a great crowd on hand as they had the camo uniforms. Made it pretty tough to find their numbers when they were running up and down the field. But a little different here, as you can see here. Connor Boris, he's already been our MVP one time, and he takes the second play from scrimmage here for him, his second run, and he goes 63 yards for the touchdown. Incidentally, Monroeville would score 4 touchdowns every time they went for the extra point. Western each time would go for 2. Here, later in the second quarter, towards the end of the half, Colton Clark finds room down the right sideline and goes in from 21 yards out. The PAT was added by Isaac Krieger, and it was 14-0 at the half. Western deferred and took the ball in the second half, and here's this kid is phenomenal. He's been up for some of our plays of the week. That's a Braxton Fralick catch. And then the guy we all talk about, Landon Wiggle, finds a little wiggle room and goes in from 2 yards out. They would add the 2-point conversion, and it was 14-8. Here again, with a minute to go in the third quarter following an interception, Wiggle would get his second touchdown. However, the 2-point conversion failed, and we were tied at 14. After a short kickoff, here again is Colt Clark, and he just puts a Western Reserve Rough Rider out of his shoes, puts a juke on him, and then heads to the sidelines, and he goes in from 46 yards out. They would tack on the PAT and lead at 21-14. Wiggle, why not? Let's go for touchdown number 3. He's had touchdown games of 5, 4, and 3 this year. And they would miss the 2-point conversion, so they trailed by 2. They get the ball back late, and Cooper Cleary from his middle linebacker position makes the interception with 3 minutes to go. Cooper ended up being our Prestige Pools MVP of the night. And then here, just for good measure, Colton Clark gets his 3rd touchdown of the game as he keeps it and goes around left end. Might have been not sure if Western let him score because then they would get the ball back and have a chance. But here on 4th down and 4, the Monroeville defense would come up big and sack Colton Medro. And with that, the Monroeville Eagles would win it 27-0, or 27-20, excuse me.
Yeah, you mentioned that you were a little bit surprised, Chris, by the outcome here. You look at Western Reserve, they had been cooking 3 straight wins. They were scoring more than 40-plus points per game. But Monroeville, this is a team traditionally, they've been right up there near the top of the conference. They know what it takes. They've got that championship pedigree. What did you like most about this Eagles squad coming on the road and really disrupting and playing antagonist tonight?
Well, I like the fact that I think Monroeville knew they would have a hard time moving the ball through the air. They're a 3 yards in a cloud of dust team, and they just put on their work boots, went in there and beat up a big Western Reserve, big and physical Western Reserve offensive line, and really won the game in the trenches. And this Firelands Conference sets up just like it did last year. Monroeville beat Western last year. Western beat St. Paul, and then it came down to a Week 10 game where St. Paul upset Monroeville on the final play. Western also lost a game in there along the way to Crestview, and we ended up with co-leaders in the FC in Monroeville. I'm sure Ashland Crestview is going to have something to say about it. they've had their easy part of the schedule, as the boys said, and now they're going to get onto the rough part. Both Monroeville and Western get South Central and Mapleton next week, so they're probably get Monroeville will move to 4-0 and Western to 3-1. But I was super pumped to watch Monroeville play tonight and just play as physical as they did. And I mean, they left their hearts out on the field. It was too bad somebody had to lose because it was an extremely well-played game.
Western Reserve, obviously, they've got a fantastic running attack. Weigel right there at the top of the charts for the Firelands Conference. When this guy's going, obviously, that's how they go. What about the passing attack? Can they be multidimensional and beat you in a couple of different ways? Or is this a team that when it's not really going well on the ground, things tend to come to a halt there with the offense?
Well, Western is without 3-year starter Hayden Keith at quarterback. He went out in week 1, and they've had Colton Migro, a sophomore, in relief for him, and he has done wonderful. But I don't think their passing games missed a beat. At halftime, they had 19 yards rushing and 65 passing. So Monroeville really keyed on Wiggle coming into the game, probably seeing his 5-touchdown performance effort last week. But no, they've got a slew of skilled players, and if you're not quick and have ball hawks at defensive back and safety, Western can throw for 300 yards on a night.
Let's go ahead and bring up those Firelands Conference standings right now and show you, because pretty much all the top teams, they're all going to play each other over these next several weeks. We mentioned that Crestview, they're running into their tough part of the schedule right now. So this is going to kind of unravel over the next several weeks. Do you have in your mind a favorite right now in the Firelands Conference as far as a team that you think has the most potential moving forward to keep picking up wins?
Well, let me say first that I think the Firelands Conference will come down to Game 10 at Contractor Stadium with Monroeville and St. Paul. I have not seen Crestview play. We're going to find out a lot about them the next 3 weeks. Western probably gets a share of that title because I just think they're too good after watching them dismantle St. Paul that they're going to slip up over their next 4 games. So I know you were showing the standings there, but right now you've got Monroeville and Crestview at 3-0, St. Paul and Western Reserve at 2-1. But again, a lot of those teams play each other here over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and it's going to shake out then. But if I had to guess, I would say Monroeville's the team, just because their size up front and their speed with Boris and Clark, that they're maybe the team in the Firelands Conference that I think will make the best tournament run.